Tonight on The Buzz, we're focusing first on actors. A good demo reel gets you work, and Suzanne LaChasse shares her tips on creating a demo reel that would get you noticed. Suzanne is a producer-actor with Screen Actors System and a specialist in creating compelling demo reels that get you gigs. Next, Marianne Bourg is a French and Luxembourg actress who's now based in LA. She won Best Actress at the CMF in 2015 for the movie Snake Eyes. She also recently starred in 2 other movies, Road Wars and Gunwoman. She's also had a recurring role on the TV show Sangre Negra. She joins us tonight to discuss how to get work as an actor. Next, we shift over to technology with Larry O'Connor, the CEO of OWC. As a storage hardware developer, he is always looking for ways to get our gear to go faster. Tonight, Larry explains the difference between a software RAID and a hardware RAID and how to choose the right storage for your system. All this, plus Tech Talk and a Buzz flashback. The Buzz starts now.
Digital Production Buzz is brought to you by Otherworld Computing at MacSales.com and by ImagineProducts.com, the workflow experts.
Since the dawn of digital filmmaking,
authoritative.
One show serves a worldwide network of media professionals,
Current.
uniting industry experts,
Production.
filmmakers,
Post-production.
and content creators around the planet.
Distribution.
From the media capital of the world in Los Angeles, California, the Digital Production Buzz goes live now.
And welcome to the Digital Production Buzz, the world's longest-running podcast for the creative content industry, covering media production, post-production, and marketing around the world. Randy Altman has the night off. Mike, tonight's show is mostly about actors creating demo reels and getting work. What's the one thing...
I remember that.
I was just thinking, what's the one thing that many actors overlook when they're trying to get work?
Overlook? It's been a while since I've been retired now from acting, 15 years?
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's 15 years.
You must have
retired,
been a child actor.
2001, something like that.
Yeah.
And at the time, I think any actor would tell you that they don't market themselves very well. And that was, but back then we didn't have social media. The ability to market ourselves had to do primarily with the work that we did and hope people liked it, and that was pretty much it. But you still had to get out of the house, and you still had to talk to people, go to places.
Why was getting out of the house so important? I mean,
well, and also there wasn't everything to keep you in the house that there is now. So it's still a who you know kind of business. The entertainment business is a who you know kind of business. So you got to go meet those people and establish relationships. Establishing relationships is really, really important, especially in the entertainment business. Because if you're good, you still got to get out there and show people that you are good. And like I said, talent will be found, but you got to kind of push it a little bit so they can find it.
Well, that's the whole theme behind your user groups. It's just getting
same
people.
thing.
It's not just in front of the camera; it's behind the camera.
No, it's the same, I think, in any industry, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's always getting hired by people that you know, and of course, you have to have talent.
And thinking about who you know and marketing yourself is what our first 2 segments are all about. Suzanne is going to be talking about demo reels, and Marianne is going to be talking about getting work. By the way, I want to remind you to subscribe to our free weekly show newsletter at digitalproductionbuzz.com. Every issue, every week, gives you an inside look at both the buzz and the industry, plus some really interesting articles and quick links to all the different segments on the show. Best of all, every issue is free. It's going to be an exciting show. We're going to focus on getting work for creative people, specifically actors, and Mike and I will be back with Suzanne LaChasse right after this.
Still to come on The Buzz.
When you're working with media, one thing is essential. Your computer needs peak performance. However, when it comes to upgrading your Mac, there are so many different options to choose from that the process can be confusing. That's why Otherworld Computing carries the best upgrades that lets your computer performance and storage grow as your needs grow. Since 1988, OWC has become one of the most trusted names in quality hardware and comprehensive support to the worldwide computer industry. With an extensive online catalog of Mac, iPhone, and iPad enhancement products, as well as a dedicated team of knowledgeable experts providing first-rate tech support, OWC has everything you need to take your current system to the next level. Whether you need to maximize your system's memory, add blazing speed, or enhance reliability, look no further than the friendly experts at OWC. Learn more by visiting macsales.com today. That's macsales.com.
Suzanne LaChasse is a Los Angeles-based producer and actor. She and her husband, Ryan Williams, own and operate Screen Actors System, which won the Backstage Magazine Reader's Choice Award for Best On-Camera Acting Class in Los Angeles, which is saying a lot. Suzanne is also a specialist in creating demo reels that actually get you work, and getting you work is one of the things that I love talking about. Hello, Suzanne. Welcome back.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Mike. How are you guys?
You know, I was just thinking the last time
when was the last time?
July 16th, 2015, because I looked it up.
You know what? It feels like yesterday.
You were but a child.
I was.
About a child.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Time goes so fast. Especially when you get older, it's just so fast. Okay,
you're fine.
All right.
You're fine.
Thank you.
Anyway.
You've dealt with actors before. I can see it in your tone.
I have.
Tell me about what Screen Actors System is.
Screen Actors System was founded by my husband, Ryan R. Williams. Ryan's a director, and what we do is we take actors who have an interest in film acting, and we teach them the tricks on how to look on camera, how to be on camera. You can go to a theater class and you can learn emotions and scene study and work and all that stuff. But when you get onto a film set, there's a certain set of rules, points of focus, how to get your emotions instantly, because we're talking about, filmmakers, they've got a time to do things. They don't have time to wait and get you to be there emotionally. So Ryan works with the actors to get them to do that on in a second. Well,
you keep mentioning film actors and film sets as though there's a difference between film and television. Is that true?
I think there is. I think on a television set, everybody knows, they've been working together for a very long time. And on a film set, you have a, short amount of time to build rapport with people and, act like you've known them your whole life. So maybe that's...
I always say that, especially television shows, being a guest star in a television show is like going in, interrupting someone's Thanksgiving Day dinner. Hi, I'm here. I'll just do my lines and I'll leave right now. Mm-hmm. It's because these people have been around for so long, or if it's a successful show, and you go in, you do your thing, and hopefully it goes well, and you're out of there. So it's that's the difference between TV and film.
There you go. He's a pro. He knows.
There's yeah, but I never listened to him.
You should.
That's all right.
I'm sure he'd say something very good once in a while.
That's right. I did. I said something good last May.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I think you wrote it down.
Well, that's an improvement.
Thank you.
It was May 2014, and it's still in my notes. Yes. Why did you feel it was necessary to start yet another acting school in a city that's filled with 800,000 acting schools?
Well, Larry, I'll tell you. When I first started acting, I went to a very well-known acting class, which was a showcase scene study class. And basically what happened is you'd get your script and you'd get your partner that day. You'd rehearse for a few hours, and then the teacher would come, you'd put up the scene, and they would critique it. Now, that was great for being able to go up in front of people and fail and learn what that feels like, and memorization was great. But in terms of being able to be subtle and using your eyes to communicate something and knowing where the camera is at all times and knowing where your light is and how to hit marks and all of that, it wasn't focused on film acting. It was more of a theater-based class. So Ryan decided, you know what, we're going to make a class that these actors know everything already. You come to our class. We have the most amazing actors. They are so brilliant. We have a class in Las Vegas, and every time LA goes to Vegas, they're always taking our students from the class. And LA, everybody's booking because they just know. They know where the camera is. They know what to do. They know where to put their eyes. They're always available emotionally. They're the greatest people I know. They really are. And they're so motivated, and they're more like filmmakers, you know. They know story really well.
All right. We're convinced you love your students.
I love my students.
And we're convinced your students are the best students in the world.
They are, hands down.
But it takes a while, and somebody's got to do some homework to get onto the film set. So what I want to spend the rest of this section talking about is how to get people to pay attention to you, and specifically, how to create a demo reel. So how would you define what a demo reel is?
A demo reel is a set of clips that represent films you've been in, commercials you've been in, all put together for casting directors to see. There are things that you can submit along with your headshot, your measurements, all of that stuff. Websites like LA Casting, Actors Access, there's other ones. There's a way to put on your demo reel, and when you submit yourself for a job, that goes along with it. It gives the casting director the ability to see what you look like on camera. And what I do is I make a teaser trailer, which is basically under a minute, everything, every emotion, happy, sad, cry, happy, whatever. And it gets the casting director to see your personality, a full range of emotion, everything just jumbled together. And then that brings them to your website, which hopefully you have. And then you've got your dramatic reel, your comedy reel, clips that you've shot with your friends, clips that you've shot with other people, you know, celebrity shots that you've done. But this is a teaser. It gives them an idea of what you can do in 59 seconds.
So it's not excerpts of your work, it's something that you've done created specifically for a demo reel?
You can do both. A lot of actors, you know, coming to LA for the first time, they don't have the time to spend, 10 years getting co-stars and getting on set and everything. So, everybody has a 5D or a 7D or a whatever D, a camera. Mm-hmm. Go shoot scenes with your friends and put scenes together. A lot of casting directors, they want to see scenes. So if you can put those together, if you don't have a co-star on, 30 Rock, if you're not, if you weren't in a Spielberg film, you can make those clips yourself. Well, it would be nice to have Spielberg there, but we don't have that all of the time. So
what should you put in a demo reel? And the flip question is going to be, what should you not put in a demo reel?
We always tell the actors to do things that are very positive. You don't want to have a reel full of, I thought you loved me, you said you did, and now you hate me, or, I hate your guts, or this isn't working. Things like that, negative suggestion is very bad, because if they only have, a minute to watch you want them to walk away with something positive. So things that are very positive, like, I'm the one, or you should go on this journey with me. Just little tiny, sentences that are very positive that lead to something else.
And you want it to be a minute or less?
I want it to be a minute or less. And the reason for that is, as an editor, when I get footage and it says 5 minutes, 42 seconds, I say to myself, I don't have time to look through that. And I end up scrubbing through, looking for, things that catch my eye. So with the 1 minute reel, 59 seconds, mentally it just looks, everybody has a minute. You can be in Starbucks and watch a reel, it's not a big deal. So instead of scrubbing through a 12-minute reel or however long it is, you can say what catches my eye and put it in there. Everything that catches your eye to yourself, put it in that reel, have it in there, and it gets people's attention.
I think editors' reels, for instance, today, no more than 2 minutes. At the time that I had a demo reel when I was an actor, I don't think it was more than 90 seconds, something like that. And that was back in the 70s. Because nobody would watch it more than if you don't grab them in the first 20 seconds, forget it, it's gone.
Yeah, because you're not guaranteeing they're going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, and they probably aren't going to watch the whole thing.
Exactly.
So the point of the demo reel is not the plot. The point is to showcase your range as an actor and how you look.
Absolutely. We want to see what you look like on camera. Can you cry? Can you yell? Are you emotional? Can you get there emotionally?
Yeah, I think generally people are watching your demo reels for a particular role. They're watching your reel because they're casting a particular role. So hopefully they will see that your ability in that first 20 seconds. It'll be at the end of that thing, but they're probably not going to watch it.
You should probably put your best stuff at the beginning of the reel.
Always put your best
Always.
stuff.
If you're with a
Always.
celebrity, if you're lucky enough to be in a movie or something with a celebrity, even if you're not talking, put it there, dovetail the dialogue of something else over it, but have it in
Demo
there.
reels, you're not building to a crescendo. You've already put the crescendo at the beginning. And
It's like a newspaper. You start with the lead, the most
Exactly.
important thing, and go down from there.
Yes.
What should you
go
do
down from there. That's right.
in terms of graphics or narration or interstitial material? Do you stitch it together? Should it have a theme, or is it really just slam cuts of a whole bunch of different things?
Well, the way I do them, it's kind of like a trailer, like when you'd watch a movie trailer. I really like driving the pace with a song, nothing that's too outrageous. You don't want to take away from the actor. Titles, when I first started doing the reels, I would do titles, this is from this movie, this is from this movie. But now I just, cut to black, name at the end, somewhere where they can go to your website. Get in contact with you is always very important to have in the reel, because it might go somewhere, and if your information isn't connected to it, then they don't know how to get in touch with you.
Is there something that you should not put in a demo reel? Things to avoid?
Things to avoid. I would say any type of, something that looks junky.
Bad lighting, bad audio.
lighting. You don't want any.
You can't ask people to take their 5D and shoot a scene, which you just did, and
Why
expect the
not?
lighting to be perfect. I mean, suddenly now they're renting lighting gear to be able to shoot the scene on a 5D. You're assuming
No,
actors are
I'm saying-
cinematographers.
Well, you can hire her husband and let him do it. And,
Absolutely. We do that. Actually, we have a seminar coming up on February 7th, 4th. Well, it's on our website. It's screenactorsystem.com. And Ryan has people come. We shoot reel. He has a seminar at the beginning, kind of just a boot camp of, do this, do that. If you just listen to him and do exactly what he says, you will look so beautiful on camera. You have no idea. We've got people that have never acted in their entire life, and they come, and he spends 10 minutes with those people, and they look like pros, And it's unusual being on camera because you think you're not doing anything, and you want so badly to express something. But a lot of film acting is just relax and look here, look there,
Mike, when you think about demo reels, you're working a lot with creative people behind the camera, specifically editors and others. Do the rules apply? Is it still the same thing? Keep it short, put the best stuff first?
Oh, absolutely. Same thing that we did. We remember the old days with tape to tape, when we take all of our scenes and sit behind the editor. We would do a tape to tape, cut here, cut here, cut here. Put all your best stuff at the beginning. Hope that beginning, those scenes are going to get you that role for that particular thing, because they're not going to watch more than 30 seconds. But that's the deal. And also today, though, even if you don't have a 5D or a 7D or whatever camera, you got a friend who knows that
Right,
stuff.
what I was
You got a
gonna
friend
say,
who's got the equipment, the
part of
audio
being
equipment,
an actor
everything.
is networking.
Right.
And you should be meeting people. You should know filmmakers. You should be friends with these people. And hey, take them to lunch.
Right, get them to do it.
Get all your actor friends together. Get your filmmaker friend. Take them to lunch and shoot a scene. It's fun. You know what? There's actors that just do it for fun. They just want to create something. And in today's day and age of Vines and Facebook and things, what's a Vine? 6 seconds?
Yeah.
People's time attention span is so short that the shorter you make your reel, I like 59 seconds. That's just me personally. But you put all the best stuff at the beginning, because, you can probably only guarantee that they'll watch the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk to Marianne in the next segment about marketing yourself as an actor and how to get work, of which there's more than just the demo reel.
Of course.
But do you think the demo reel is the most important, or is it the website, or is it the headshot? If you were to put your effort into one thing more than anything else, because you don't have unlimited resources and unlimited time, what do you concentrate on?
That's a really tough question.
It's a great question to ask. It's a hard one to answer.
It is. I guess I would say your demo reel is probably the most important, because it's your headshot, it's your audition, it's everything all in one. It's what you look like, it's your measurements. That's what people want to see. They want to see what you look like on camera. And if you have a good demo reel, then they don't have to call you in. Our actors get cast right off their demo reel. So that's probably the most important.
Would you have a demo reel for film work, a second demo reel for TV, and if you're a singer, a third one for singing, or would it all be the same thing?
I'd say don't limit yourself. If you can get all of that on camera, do it. Absolutely. Have your teaser trailer that, gets your foot in the door, that leads those casting people to your website where you can have your action reel, your comedy reel, you singing, you speaking a different language, all of that in one place. But this one, it just, it gets you into the theater. It has you buy a ticket, right? So.
I understand that the experience of television and film are a little bit different, but essentially the technique is the same. You got a camera. You got the actors. That's the same thing. So if you're going to ask that question, is what's the difference between film and theater? And that's a big difference. But film acting, TV, same thing.
I was just thinking, is it possible to tell if a demo reel is working? Or are you just showing it to people and hoping that it works? Is there a way to sort of test it and make sure people are paying attention?
I think if it doesn't bore anybody, then that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
If you're not booking work off of it, then you need to get a different one.
Show it around, obviously, get opinions.
Get opinions from people who are actors. Maybe stay away from your family.
Your agent's going to be pretty truthful. They're going to say it sucks or it's
I sure
okay.
hope so.
Yeah.
I hope
if
that
they're
your
not,
agent.
then it's the wrong agent.
Right.
How often should you change your demo reel?
Every time you get something new, you should, incorporate into your reel. If you get, if you're in a movie with Brad Pitt, you stop everything and you cut him into your reel instantly. You put him at, second number one instantly. But you can bank up footage. One of the things we do with the class is every month we shoot reel, and we have our seminars. We shoot reel, and people bank it up, and then they dump it on their reel.
I can tell you, I spent a lot of time doing demo reels in my early days as an actor, but I never got work off of my demo reel. I just got work, and so I was lucky. So,
it's because you're so handsome.
Because very few people actually watched my demo reels.
Which is why you got the work.
Yeah, thank God. I took a chance.
Suzanne, where can people go on the web to learn more about you and your company?
ScreenActorSystem.com, and you can go to the
cool idea.
footage
I like the idea.
section where we have the reels that we've shot for the students, some shorts, and learn more about our television show that we're shooting.
ScreenActorsSystem.com.
That's a neat idea.
And Suzanne LaChasse is one of the co-founders and, as always, a delightful guest. Suzanne, thanks for joining us today. Take care.
Still to come on The Buzz.
Imagine Products has been specializing in workflow applications for over 25 years. They started with executive producer back in 1991, an all-in-one logging and offline editing tool. In 2006, ImageMine was used in the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics, and ShotPut Pro was released. Today, there are more than 30,000 ShotPut Pro users worldwide. Pre-roll Post for Macintosh was released in 2012. This is an LTFS archiving application compatible with any LTO tape drive, as well as Sony's ODA. Pre-roll Post for Windows was released at the end of 2015. It's the only LTFS archiving application of its kind for less than $500. Imagine Products has 3 simple goals for its software: make it powerful, make it easy to use, and make it affordable. It's easy to see why Imagine Products has been successful for 25 years. Imagine what comes next. Visit ImagineProducts.com to download a demo.
Marianne Bourg is originally from France and Luxembourg, but who's now based in Los Angeles. She won the Best Actress award at the Campus Movie Festival in 2015 for the movie Snake Eyes, and has also starred in 2 new movies, Road Wars and Gunwoman. She also had a recurring role on the TV show Sangre Negra. Hello, Marianne. Welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you.
What first got you interested in acting?
I started acting when I was 12. I was doing theater back home, and the actual reason why I started is silly, but I watched Harry Potter, and the children are pretty much my age when they started, and so I got really jealous, and I wanted to do what they were doing because it seemed so much fun, and they were in this dream world, and they were making me happy watching it. They were making me dream, and I wanted to give that to other people. So that's when I started going to theater school, went there for a few years, and then I stopped, and I went and studied finance for another few years.
Holy cow, really?
I did, yes. A waste
Probably a
of
good
time and
idea.
not a waste of, it's,
That's
it's
like something your
50-50.
mother or father tells you, just to fall back on.
That's absolutely right.
Take a finance class.
And then they say you can do acting later, but it's actually the other way around. You can always go to university later.
Exactly.
that's
Do
very
acting
true.
first.
Although the older you get, the harder it is to go back to school. So
That's it. But the harder it is to get back to acting, too.
that's very
You need
true.
so much energy to do it.
We had a chance to talk in the last segment with Suzanne about how to create a demo reel.
Yes.
And what I want to talk with you about today is how to get work as an actor, because clearly you're booking jobs and you're booking films, which is
Yes.
something that a lot of actors dream of but aren't able to do. So how do you find work?
Well, also I see a lot of people aren't putting the work they should be putting in. A lot of people don't have headshots, or their headshots are 3 years old. A lot of people are not on LA Casting, Actors Access, IMDb Pro. People don't have reels. That's the most common one. And they don't even think about how they could get the reel. Because I tell them, well, just shoot some scenes with your friends, get some lights for one day and shoot for 6 hours. You can get 10 scenes out of there. And they go, oh, I never thought about that. How did you not think about that? It's so obvious to me. So you just need to be really awake and really constantly be thinking about ways like, how can I meet this casting director? Because I know this show, I want to be on this show, I would be perfect for it. How do I contact them? Maybe go on IMDb Pro, see if the email is there, or find their phone number, found their mailing list, found anything that you can, talk to a PA who was in the movie with them. You know, if you really want to make it and want to get in touch with certain people, you just need to be smart about it and found ways to do it. And then there's always ways to do it.
Now, Mike is a big fan of networking, getting out and meeting people and having, just so they know you exist.
Yes.
And yet there's a lot of marketing which is done via social media, a lot of marketing which is done using demo reels and mailing headshots to anything that can walk. Where do you put your effort? You don't have unlimited time.
No, your effort needs to be really specific. Because I did it the first time when I came here. I was looking for an agent, and I was mailing headshots and reels to every possible agent. Never got an answer. Until I focused on 2-3 agents, I was like, they don't have anybody like me. They need foreigners. They're casting, they know the casting directors for the shows I want to be on. And then I harassed them. And I would send them emails. It's true, you have to do it in a polite way, not every day. That'd be crazy. Send them emails. When you book something, go, hey, my movie's on Amazon. Watch it. Hey, I just did a musical. Do you want to listen to my song? I just kind of stay in touch because we're all human beings, and these people are human beings. They want to trust people that they know. So when you stay on their radar and you talk to them like a normal person, at some point they go, oh, I feel like I know her. Well, let me call her in because I feel like she's almost my friend now. But it has to be really focused. Know who you are. Know what you're selling. For example, I'm not playing an American. And I see a lot of roles where it's like playing a parent or playing some authority figure, a cop or something. I can't play any of these roles because they specifically want Americans a lot of the times. So I have to go and see, okay, what am I selling? I'm selling Europeanness. And
You're the
selling
dangerous
Frenchness.
international villain.
But that's exactly what I get cast as. And once I understood that, I was like, I'm going to sell exactly that because that's what they want. And when I come in the room, that's what they're going to see.
Well, I will confess, I was impressed with your IMDb listing, and
Thank you.
virtually every other shot had you with some serious armament.
That's absolutely
We're
right.
talking bazookas and cannons and
I love it.
unbelievable stuff.
Yes.
So you're actually marketing yourself in that direction. It's not just
Absolutely.
by happenstance.
No. You have to, especially at the very beginning, you have to know what you're selling.
Yeah, she makes a really, really good point because actors, when it comes to business, they don't know crap.
They're selling everything.
And so they really do need to know who you are, what
Yes.
type you are, and sell that. Then after you sell that, then you can get into all the
I was talking to
other
a
roles
friend
that
of
you want
mine
to do.
who's Russian. I saw her 2 weeks ago, and she looks extremely Russian. She's the cliche of the Russian, has a very thick accent. And she was like, should I go for the girl next door? I'm like, absolutely not. You're never going to get cast as that. Go for either comedies where you're playing the silly Russian girl, or get headshots where you look really sexy and you look like a spy and you look like the stereotype that people want to see. And she did that, and it's, that's what works.
How do you decide what your strength is? Because one of the things I've learned as I teach students is it's easy for us to all identify our weaknesses. But how do we identify our strengths? Because they've always been with us. Like,
Yes.
you speak French. I can barely speak English. And I've never considered the ability to speak a language. I've always viewed that as a weakness, but I don't consider the ability to speak English a strength because it's always who I am.
Right.
How do you identify your strengths?
The best way to do it is ask other people. especially if you're trying to identify what kind of characters you should play. You're in a bad spot to test it and to tell yourself what it is. Because as an actor, I would like to play everything. That's why I became an actor, because I want to do many different characters. But then as I asked friends and I asked other people, they say, what do you see me as? When I come in the room, who am I? Or even when I went into casting director workshops, I would always ask the casting director, now that I just did a scene and you heard me speak a little bit, what would you cast me as? Just to get a quick idea of what it would be. And then you just put all these opinions together, and then you know who you are or what you can sell.
So what piece of marketing do you find the most useful? Is it face-to-face meetings? Is it bugging people via email? Is it headshots? Is it demo reels? What works? What do you put your first effort into?
I feel like you have to attack on every base. Seriously, if you can meet the person face-to-face, it's always better, because it's a human thing. We relate more once we've seen a face. Or if you can go out there and network and always stay in touch with the people. That's probably the most important thing. And a lot of people forget. They went, I went to this Golden Globes party and I met 2 producers. And then 6 months later, I'm like, are you still in touch with them? They're like, no, but I met them that one time. I'm like, well, they don't know who you are anymore. So you need to just gently send emails and remind them, invite them to a show if you're doing a show. That's probably the best thing. Send them your reel when you get a new reel, or whatever else you're doing. Just keep them updated, And also what people obviously love is when you don't look like you're trying to take advantage of them. And this is a city where people are constantly trying to see, what can I get from you, Yeah. And when you just come and you go, hey, are you a director? Well, if I hear of any script that I'm interested in, I'll send it to you. I'll try to get you a job. Or even producers. You try to, because you want them to be friends, you try to get them a job. And then if they find something for you, they'll try to get you a job. It's a give-give situation, not just trying to meet people and trying to get what you can from them. It's uncomfortable for you. It's uncomfortable for the other person. So just be a human being.
Go back to the beginning of what I said. If you have talent, people will find you, but you got to get out there so you can be found. And if they do find you, they really want to help you.
Yeah.
People really want to help you.
They do.
Because it makes them look good, too, as well as you.
And also casting directors, you're the solution.
Sure.
And when you get into a room...
They have a big problem. You're in there to solve it. So.
If you can go there and be awesome, great. Then they don't need to worry about it anymore.
Absolutely.
They're not going to look bad. They can
look
send you
good
to the
and they'll have your
producers.
back.
They go, thank God.
And each time you're awesome gets you a little bit closer to that better agent, which is so important. I mean, it's very important that you get
Why
the
is a
best
better agent important? Aren't they
They're
all-
getting all the calls. They know what's going on. The smaller agencies don't. So even if you have a agent, it doesn't really mean much. You need those top agents. It's really because they have the opportunities, and it's a stepping stone. It's a ladder to get to those top agents, and eventually, like you said, if you got talent, you'll get there.
And what happened to a friend of mine, he had a reel that we shot 3 years ago with student movies and everything, so nothing really, really amazing. But he has a very good look, and he managed by stalking this agent to get her to sign him, and he went to workshops with her and emailed her, and she signed them, and he's been booking co-stars and guest stars nonstop since he signed with her. So getting an agent is one of the most important things. Somebody who will get the breakdowns that you cannot get. Or even if you get them, as some people do, you won't be able to submit yourself. Somebody who can make that phone call for you is the most important thing. Or even make friends with agents. Because I've done that for a co-star that I auditioned for. I'm friends with a few agents and managers, but they didn't sign me because they had too many people like me. But I saw a breakdown that I was perfect for. And then I called her, I was like, no, I'm not signed with you, but I'll give you 20% if you can get me in the room. She was like, okay. So, just even if people don't sign you, don't be resentful. They have their own reasons. Just stay in touch, talk to them, show them that you're working, that you don't necessarily need them, show you're doing your stuff. They'll find you eventually.
So we've got our marketing materials. What kind of headshots should we get? Do we need different headshots, or is a single headshot?
Absolutely different headshots, 4 to 5 different headshots. And casting directors don't have time to imagine what you could look like. If they need a business person, you better have a headshot where you look really businessy. So have a headshot for all the things that you could play very well. So typically the girl next door, or for me, I do a lot of martial arts. So martial arts, or with a weapon, or architect, if you're an architect and you can play this kind of role. Anything that I am these types, or villain. Get headshots that represent you, and get a few of them. And send the casting director exactly the headshot they need for the specific job. And ideally, if you can have a reel that reflects that, For example, I have a dramatic reel, I have a martial arts reel, I have a comedy reel, I have a villain reel. Depending on the job, I just go, here is exactly what you need. You don't need to see anything else, don't need to see the comedy, just here's the villain stuff. It just makes it easier for them, makes it easier for you.
So we need a demo reel. Suzanne is saying a demo reel which encompasses everything. You're saying a
Yes.
demo reel which is specific.
I say both, and I believe that, because we talked about it, that's what she meant as well. The first one should be a teaser. The 58, 59 seconds, just a teaser of like everything, just every possible emotion, very different roles that you've played, comedy, drama, action, everything, so that people gain interest in you. It should be like a trailer. It makes you want to go watch the movie. And then when they go on your IMDb, on your website, then they can see like full scenes or like the specifically dramatic reel with different scenes and then everything. So ideally, you should have both.
Okay, so we've got a demo reel. We've got a headshot for different environments.
Yes.
We're networking our brains out, and we're making sure we've got a good agent.
Stay in touch with the people you network with.
And now it's time for the audition. What do we need to do at the audition to give ourselves a better chance to get the gig? It's never a
I was
guarantee.
terrible at auditions.
I love auditioning.
God, I hated them.
You have to consider the audition as if you had already booked the job. It's
Why
a
is
hard
that?
thing to do because it makes you more comfortable. It makes you feel like the role is yours. Because if you go in there and you're like, they're judging me, you're going to look like you're being judged. It's a no-no. And don't talk too much. Because I've done casting for some friends, and I see people could come in and start talking, and I couldn't get my parking, and I got a parking ticket, and the traffic was terrible. I don't want to hear that. So you just come in, you're here to do your work, you enjoy yourself, you behave as if the character was already yours, and you're just the lead character, and you're coming in to do your job, your rehearsal, and then you say thank you, goodbye, and you leave. And also at the end, people start discussing, oh, but I made this decision because I was thinking of this, and I don't discuss it. Don't talk about it. Just if they give you direction, take it. Don't discuss it. Don't say why you did it differently. Do it, and then leave. And be really confident, which is the hardest thing to do. But just prepare very well and know that you're well prepared. And then you go in, do your job like a pro, and then you leave. And if they don't want you, it's probably not anything you did.
Should you come in character, or should you assume character when they say go?
I've done both. Because when I play villains and when I'm supposed to play like a serial killer, and if I go in really creepy, they're probably going to like what I do, but then they're going to go, I don't want to be on set with her. She's crazy. So then go in, be nice, be sweet. Don't be too overly bubbly. Don't be too far away from the character, but just be a little nicer and then get into character. Absolutely. Because they also want to spend time with you on set. They don't want somebody who's in a bad mood, who's crazy, who's negative, any of that. So just don't be overly anything.
It's called acting, not schizophrenia.
Exactly. Yeah. Be normal.
Yeah.
As you look at actors or work with other actors, what are some of the common mistakes they make that if you could just do one thing and shake them by the shoulders and say, don't do this, what is it?
People are there's so many things that bother me. People are very entitled. And people think they already know it all. So I see a lot of people who have headshots that are old and like, I don't care, I look the same, or my reel is good enough, I don't need to take any classes, I'm good the way I am. People that don't work on themselves constantly and don't try to find ways to make it and go, okay, this doesn't work, what else can I do? How can I get in touch with this person? I want people that are more hardworking, people that are all about it. And when people aren't that I feel that I'm wasting my time. I feel like they're making the casting director waste their time.
Wait a minute. You use the phrase work on themselves. What does that mean?
Work on themselves as in try to find, it's getting to know yourself. Know what's best about you. Know what you're not as good at. And maybe work on that. I can't cry as well. I'm not as emotional as I should be. I need to work on that. Or like this audition didn't go well. What was my state of mind? Why did it not work out, And you need to be really comfortable with yourself. And that's what's going to make you more even confident and look more confident too.
So the key is take a deep breath, talk to the world, keep your stuff updated, and don't give up.
And don't be afraid of other people. Casting directors and producers, they're just people. They're going home to their kids and their dog afterwards. They're just like you.
And for people that want to like you as an actor, where can they go on the web to learn about you and get a hold of you?
Well, my website is www.marianne-bourg.com, or I'm on IMDb, I'm on Twitter, Instagram.
Oh, your IMDb stuff is incredible.
Thank you so
It's
much.
been fun.
It's very sweet of you.
Marianne, thank you so very much
you.
for joining us. I wish you great success. And when I talk to you again, I want to have you have another 4 movies under your belt. You take good care.
Thank
We'll
you
talk
so
to you
much.
soon.
Bye.
Thanks.
Still to come on The Buzz.
I want to invite you to become a member of our video training library. Our training library is unique in the industry. It includes more than 1,400 in-depth movies, each accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every movie in our library can be streamed to any internet-connected device. And it includes production and post-production, hardware, software, and techniques. It features current and past software releases from both Apple and Adobe, and unlike YouTube, all our training is complete. And unlike other websites, we focus exclusively on media production and post-production. Best of all, our memberships are affordable, starting at only $19.99 per month. Focused, in-depth, accessible, and complete. This is the training that you need to solve problems, master new software, and expand your business. I invite you to become a member today. Thanks.
Welcome to Tech Talk.
Let's say, for whatever reason, my library got corrupted. I unplugged the hard disk before Final Cut was done writing to it, whatever. When you go to File, Open Library, From Backup, this allows you to open up a backup file of your library, and Final Cut stores a new backup about every 15 minutes, provided you're making changes to the file. Now, what's being backed up are just your databases, the databases that define what the media is, the databases that define what the edit is. Media-generated files, none of that is backed up. What is backed up is the databases, which is critical, because without that, you can't recover your project. Now, the databases themselves are stored in your home directory, in your movies folder, inside a folder called Final Cut Backups. And inside Final Cut Backup is a backup. You can see the year it was made, the month, the day, the time, a backup of all the files that were, of the databases that were backed up and when they were backed up. The general rule of thumb is pick the most recent version, which is December of 2014. That's the most recent version of this edit. When you are restoring from a backup, this is a library. If you double click it, it will open just like any other library inside Final Cut. And as long as the media is in the same location with the same name and it's online, you're going to be able to link to it automatically without having to do any other work. Otherwise, if the media locations have changed or the file names have changed, then you're going to need to relink media, and you do that by going up to the File menu and choosing the Relink option. To learn how this works, which is longer than I've got time to share with you today, again, go to my website, go to the free resources tutorials, step-by-step tutorials, and do a search for Relink. And it will walk you through all the different options that you have to relink media and which one you pick and what the results of that are. So the website's got a lot of online resources to explain this in more step-by-step detail. So a library backup is a library. It just backs up the databases, and it accesses the media, which is stored to your second drive, or wherever you've stored the media, and wherever you've stored the original library, it will try to access it. If it can't get the render files, it'll re-render. If it can't access the optimized files, it'll work with Camera Native, and you can then optimize the files yourself. How? Select the clip or clips you want to optimize, go up to the File menu, go down to Transcode Media, and check Create Optimized. It will be grayed out if they already exist. Check Proxy Media if you want to create proxy files. If proxy files exist, it also will be grayed out. So you can, if you want, optimize. The word is transcode. You can transcode your media after you've imported, in case you didn't transcode it during the import process. Larry O'Connor founded Otherworld Computing, which is also called OWC, in 1988. Their website, which you may know better than their company name, is macsales.com. OWC is both a reseller and a developer supporting all things Mac for more than 25 years. And today we want to talk with Larry about storage. Hello, Larry. Welcome back.
Hey, Larry, and thanks for having me back. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's always fun having you on the show. Mike has been looking forward to this conversation because he lives for storage.
Yeah, I do, Larry. I'm going to be listening intently.
Fantastic.
Larry, many people know OWC from its website at macsales.com. What they may not know is that you both sell and develop hardware. What got you into creating your own gear in the first place?
Well, we're very, the direct channel is really reflective of being a very customer-focused organization and being there for our customers first. And in terms of the products that we've brought to market, which go back to the early 90s, I guess you could technically count memory in the 80s, but memory were just chips. The first storage solutions were early 90s. It was reflective of a lack of whether it was a feature, a quality situation, the right solution being available for customers that we were talking to, and that we had the ability to do something better and bring it into place is how we got going and got into position.
Today, because I know that OWC makes all kinds of stuff, I want to focus specifically on storage. And while all of us want the fastest gear, like we all want the fastest car, when does speed, when does storage performance really matter, and when is it less important?
It really matters where it's performance that actually applies to the task that's at hand. Benchmarks are wonderful, and benchmarks, granted, like the Oddjohn, the Blackmagic tests are very relevant to those sorts of application functions. But speed, just for the sake of speed and the synthetic, really doesn't translate often into the actual applications where you're doing the audio, video, editing work. It's a benchmark. It's a nice number, but in the real world, where there's mixed load, where there's reading and writing happening effectively simultaneously, things are a very different beast. And of course, the other place where I say speed is great, but not necessarily the only primary is where the data that's being generated, the data that's being created, stored, output, has a value that exceeds that of a couple milliseconds saved because you have faster storage, and that's where you do give up speed to have a RAID 5 or even a mirror or a 0+1 as opposed to a pure stripe.
Now, there's two types, broad types of storage systems. There's single drives and there's RAIDs. How would you define a RAID?
By definition, a redundant inexpensive drives is the redundant array of inexpensive drives was the original definition of RAID. I mean, way back when, put a bunch of drives together and get more speed versus an expensive drive that was faster, and things are much different today. And I don't know why I went to the historical, but a RAID effectively allows you to combine multiple drives. You want drives that are matched, typically going together, and that's where you get the best performance and the best reliability. You can leverage multiple drives together and have the speed of the combined set as opposed to a single drive, which is great for archive, great for a lot of things. In fact, you editing and work on a single drive as well, but you have less performance from a single drive than a multi-drive array. You have you have actually no redundancy off a single drive, versus having a RAID, whether it's a RAID 0+1 or a RAID 1 or a RAID 4 or a RAID 5. with a RAID array.
Well, just to define a term, redundancy means that in some RAID configurations, if one of the drives inside the RAID dies, you can still recover all your data. So having redundancy allows you to protect data in the event of a drive failure. But you also used terms like RAID 0 or RAID 1 or RAID 5. What do those numbers mean?
Sure. I guess RAID 0 in the sense of having RAID in the name is almost oxymoron in the sense that RAID 0 is, there's zero redundancy, and they RAID 0, all the drives in that RAID are working together to give you the total capacity of the drives and the maximum performance of the combined throughput. If one drive goes down in a RAID 0, everything stored in that set goes away. RAID 1 gives you effectively, I'd say complete redundancy, but not really any benefit for RAID performance. The RAID 1, with the right solution, software is one of those solutions, you get a good boost on the read side, but when you're writing out the same data to both drives. So it's limited to the performance of a single drive, similar to a single standalone drive solution, other than if one of those two drives has an issue, you don't suffer data loss. You're still online, you're still working, your priceless data is still available. RAID 4 and 5 go into effectively a redundant RAID 0 in a sense. You have, in the case of RAID 4, you have a dedicated parity drive, which means that there's one drive that takes slices of the other three drives. In a RAID 5, you have distributed parity, which means all the drives take slices of the other drives. In the past, the RAID 5 was actually a better solution than a RAID 4 due to just where drive capabilities were. But in the era of SSDs and even a lot of today's high-performance hard drives, you actually get a better performance from the RAID 4 solution. Just because RAID 5 is a number higher doesn't make it a higher RAID. And again, don't want to overcomplicate, but other than to say distributed parity was better when drives weren't as fast as they are today because you needed that load spread. Now it's actually a better circumstance to have a RAID 4. The system can manage it quicker, faster, more efficiently. And you have the same redundancy, and you have a little bit better performance. But you get the performance of combining multiple drives together, but you're in a circumstance where one of the drives can fail. And once again, you have no data loss, no loss of time, no loss of operation. That's the way a RAID is supposed to work. Not all RAIDs work that way. Some are proprietary and use special schemas that let you do things that sound really great on paper, but don't always work really well in practice. And when they do have a problem, they can be a big problem. But nonetheless, these types of RAIDs are definitely the right way to go. The RAID 0, the RAID 4 or 5, one types.
So RAID 0 gives us the fastest performance, the greatest storage, but RAID 4 or RAID 5 gives us the protection in case a drive dies. Briefly, when would we use an SSD in a RAID versus spinning media?
It all depends upon what your performance needs are, or even your environment needs. Some people, go all SSD because they want silent running, and they get exceptional performance, more performance than they need in a lot of cases. And at a higher cost, but it's dead silent. So if you have an application that benefits from the speed, it's editing, it's maybe it's ingest, and you have a high performance station for what you're ingesting from, and you can use more than what spinners can do. An array of SSDs is a nice solution, but you can typically, out of RAID 0, achieve over 800 megabytes a second, certainly over 700 megabytes a second with spinning platter drives. RAID 5, in the 500 to 600 megabyte range. So it really comes down to if it isn't fast enough for you, you can and that's the other thing. You can, especially with something like soft RAID, you can expand the array and double that performance simply by going out to a second chassis and adding more drives. And with more drives comes more speed. But again, it's all about what your application requirements are, what your budget is as well. I mean, if the sky is the limit, you buy SSDs because they're quiet and they're exceptionally fast, and it just doesn't get better than that. If you need a lot of storage and you have X performance benchmark you need to hit, an array of spinners is far more still cost effective today, and gives you a lot more storage for a much lower, more cost effective price. Some people do both.
One of the hidden components in any RAID is what's called the RAID controller. and there are hardware RAID controllers, and there are software RAID controllers. Hardware is a chip that handles all the data processing, and the software RAID controller does it using software inside your computer. Traditionally, hardware RAIDs were faster and software RAIDs were more flexible. Is that a true statement? And when should somebody decide whether to accept a hardware RAID or a software RAID?
Well, today the lines have gotten pretty blurred. In terms of, you have other bandwidth constraints, you have other things that impact, what a hardware RAID can do. You're also reaching thresholds in terms of what the hardware processors are providing today. But the big thing is the flexibility you get with a software RAID is on a Mac. Again, all your mileage will vary depending on what platform. There's only one major, soft RAID solution for beyond RAID 1, at least on a Macintosh. But in the case of a soft RAID, not only do you have the performance at this point that's comparable to something that's plugged in hardware, you also have, and not only do you have the flexibility to have multiple RAIDs on a single device, a hardware RAID is limited to one hardware mode across the entire set of volumes. So if you have multiple purposes in mind, you're limited to whatever single RAID mode you put across. You need performance, it's all got to be RAID 0. If you need redundancy, it could be 0+1 or RAID 5 or RAID 4. In the case of a software RAID, you could actually set aside part of the volume. In fact, the fastest part of the spinners, the software typically will allow you to configure for a RAID 0 set, put a RAID 5 set or a double redundant 0+1 set. Below that, you can do your editing in the fast portion of the drive in a RAID 0, and then put your output into a redundant volume that's on the same set of drives. So you have exceptional flexibility. If you need more speed, and something you can absolutely not do with the hardware RAID, you can have actually multiple drive arrays connected to your system or chain them through Thunderbolt. And instead of having 4 drives, you can take it to 8 drives or to 12 drives or to 16 drives. You can put it across 2 separate Thunderbolt channels if you have more than one Thunderbolt channel available to you, and double your available bandwidth, and you see speeds, even approaching literally 4 gigabytes a second. The only way to RAID a hardware RAID is to use software RAID on the hardware, which is exceptionally convoluted versus having a true RAID set. And the other big thing is when something goes wrong with a hardware RAID, data recovery can be a real pain in the tail. And there's definitely there's more that can be done and is being done at a software RAID level to protect and prevent issue and prevent even when a drive fails. The whole point of the RAID is so that you're up and running, you're still going, your data is accessible. And I had to say it's unfortunately more often than it should be that that is not the case when something goes wrong, especially proprietary solutions on the hardware RAID side. And my friend in had to say that in your biz, certainly unfortunately had an experience that could have ended very very badly, and thankfully they were able to recover her data, but the whole situation should never have occurred if that product had done what was intended. You have with a software RAID, you have so much more information, a different level. I mean, the software RAID is there to make sure whatever you're connected with, it's monitoring those drives and keeping you informed and giving you the best probability of knowing an issue exists before it's an issue, and giving you the opportunity to resolve it. The hardware RAID, it's a little, you're more isolated and you're a little bit more kind of at the whim of what's behind the black curtain.
Larry, I know that most of the RAIDs, if not all the RAIDs, that OWC ships are software RAID based. Where can people go on the web to learn more about the software RAID solution you guys offer and how well it works?
Sure, they can visit OWCdigital.com and get a lot of information on the Thunder Bay 4 software RAID-enabled solutions. And I'd also encourage folks to directly visit softraid.com, where they can learn a lot more about that application. And we benefit from it, and it's what powers our RAIDs, our multi-bay RAIDs today. And it's also something that's an option for anybody. You can actually, even with a hardware RAID, you can use this solution, as most RAIDs allow you to go independent. You can break the binds of that hardware
and Larry, we're gonna thank you so much. Larry O'Connor is the founder of OWC. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Larry.
It's time for a BuZZ flashback, 5 years ago today.
This started, I would say, 2 or 3 years ago. And what's new, obviously, are all those new platforms that offer new distribution possibilities. All of a sudden, we had more buyers registering to come, and they were buying for VOD, internet platforms, web TVs, I mean, all kind of those new platforms.
This was a BuZZ flashback.
You know, Mike and I were chatting during the break about the fact that it's always been about marketing for actors. But Mike, as you were listening to Suzanne and Marianne talking, do they have new ideas, or is it really just restating the old stuff in a new way?
I think it's no, it's not so much new ideas, but there's so much new opportunities and technology out there to take advantage of. And she does make a good point about some actors just not putting in the work. You can't just go do the audition and then wait for the next audition.
Can't say you're an actor and wait for the calls.
You need that fire in the belly. You really need the fire in the belly to keep getting up in the morning. You have to have a business approach to your creative craft, and a lot of people don't. And they might have the talent and they might get lucky, but you really got to put in the work to get lucky. And then once you do get lucky, then you can take advantage of it. But yeah, they're right. And marketing yourself is a really big thing. And I didn't do a very good job of it when I was, but I didn't really have to. I got lucky. I got work, so I didn't really have to market myself very much. And I'm still to this day bad at it.
I want to thank our guests for today, Suzanne LaChasse, actress and co-founder of Screen Actors System, Marianne Bourg, the actress, and Larry O'Connor, the CEO of OWC. There's a lot of history in our industry, and it's all posted to our website at digitalproductionbuzz.com. Here you'll find thousands of interviews, all online and all available to you today. And sign up for our free weekly show newsletter. Talk with us on Twitter at DPBuzz and Facebook at digitalproductionbuzz.com. Our theme music is composed by Nathan Doogie Turner, with additional music provided by smartsound.com. Text transcripts are provided by Take One Transcription. Visit takeone.tv to learn how they can help you. Our supervising producer is Serena Catania. Our engineering team is led by Megan Paulos, including Ed Golia, Keegan Guy, James Miller, and Brianna Murphy. On behalf of Mike Horton, that's the guy sitting on the other side of the table looking handsome, my name is Larry Jordan, and thanks for joining us for the Digital Production Buzz.
Bye, everybody.
The Digital Production Buzz was brought to you by Otherworld Computing, providing quality hardware solutions and extensive technical support to the worldwide computer industry since 1988. And by ImagineProducts.com, specializing in workflow applications for over 25 years.
If you'd like to see more videos like this one, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. To stay connected and receive updates from the Buzz, sign up for our free weekly newsletter now. Or you can learn more about us on our website. And thanks for watching the Digital Production Buzz.